Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're gonna review Hacksaw Ridge. It's kind of interesting how I came about this movie because I was gonna watch like Dunkirk or some other war movie, and then I saw this one. I'm like, I've heard that's good, so I checked the trailer. It looked really good, and today I'm gonna give you my thoughts here. So yeah, go check out some of my solo reviews, including Wolf of Wall Street and Goodfellas, and let's get started. Starting off, what this movie's about. This movie's about the character of Desmond Doss, who's just kind of this average kid from Virginia who wants to join the army and help, and to sort of be a hero. Well, yeah, be a hero, but at the same time, like he didn't want to touch a gun based on his past beliefs that kind of affect him up to today. So he then decides to not go on a gun and faces a lot of legal trouble with that. So he essentially goes on the battlefield, and essentially it's about the war hero that didn't even fire a bullet, the kind of thing.
With the world tearing itself apart, doesn't seem like such a bad thing to me to want to put a little bit of it back together.
Now of the good, and starting off the good, I mean, this movie's fantastic, and I think everyone knows why. I mean, it's about this character of Desmond Doss who goes on the battlefield saving lives without even touching a gun, and it's just such a kind of an inspiring story because, like, you're just rooting for this character all throughout because he's also a kind guy. He's played by Andrew Garfield, who does a fantastic job. Very underrated actor. He should get more recognition, but he hasn't quite done that much, I guess, and some of his bigger stuff, like Spider-Man, didn't quite do that well, but anyway. So, like, give that, and then also, like, you just believe in him, and, like, you see him doing this, and you're like, yes, get him, one more, and when he's just saying one more, it's just such, like, a emotionally moving story. I wouldn't even say it's like that heavy movie. I could rewatch this one if I wanted to. Like, I've seen it twice now, and like other ones like Saving Private Ryan, I would say is a bit heavier, and I don't think I could watch that one quite as many times as I could this one. This one's also rewatchable. I will say that. And another sort of a lesson you could learn from this one is kind of don't go in with like just certain expectations of people. Like, for example, with Sam Worthington's character, who's, well, obviously this captain who's kind of just your average nice captain, who with Desmond, who is this guy who doesn't want to shoot a gun, and everyone's kind of thinking about as this skinny boy coward, and then he's anything but that as you get to the end, as Sam Worthington realizes that he's so much more than that. He did so much in service for the country, and the way everyone kind of supports him, like, you're just cheering for him as well. So, just great. So he's played by Andrew Garfield. He just does such an amazing job in this role, and I think this is his best role he's done yet. I hope he gets in more, to be honest, because this actor deserves a lot more recognition than he's given, because he's known for Spider-Man, obviously, and that obviously didn't do very well. And even though I don't hate those movies, the Amazing Spider-Man ones, but they're nothing special, really. And then he does this, I think, right after Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out, or I think a couple years after. And he's just amazing here. He just brings, let's say, this Oscar-level performance in with this character that you're just rooting for. So it just makes for such a great true story. Though, I'm not a big, I've heard the guy's not really like what I would call a well-respected guy in real life, or it doesn't seem like a nice guy. Mel Gibson does direct this movie actually fairly well, even though it does kind of sped up the goriness a bit as you get to the actual war scenes, and it's a little odd, but he still does a good job here. So, but I've always kind of been, it does put me off a little bit because I see his name on it, and it doesn't quite put me the right way. But, you know, I kind of forget about it. I don't really think about it when I'm watching. It's just something I kind of know to myself, but still, just such a fantastic movie. Everyone's great. You also got, what's it called? I can't remember the guys that plays the sergeant, but he does a great job. Sam Worthington plays the captain here. He does a great job, Captain Wilson or whatever his name is. And Andrew Garfield's great. And you just see this character kind of go on from like when he's like a kid who did this kind of bad thing to his brother or whatever. And you see him sort of just kind of rise up and get older. He gets married, or he gets engaged at least. And then he goes to the army, and then it ends kind of a right note where he's getting brought down, eventually going to get sent home. So it just has like just the perfect beginning, middle, and ending. I wish maybe the ending could have been a little bit more satisfying. Maybe see a couple more scenes on the battlefield as America takes Hacksaw Ridge, but I think this movie, it's just such like a, I guess, emotionally driven adventure, and then like you just see at the end, by the end, like you're just very like, you just feel so inspired. It's very like kind of it's kind of odd, especially for a war movie. It's kind of like a feel good movie, but it doesn't at all like romanticize World War II whatsoever. So because in the way it just does that, I think it's just why it works so well. Now we have the mixed, and the first thing that I would say is, I mentioned this earlier, Mel Gibson does kind of crank up the gore, and it does get a bit too gory for its own good. Not like it's exceptionally gory, like it doesn't really like highly bother me that it's mixed, it's not bad. But like, I see what they're trying to go for here, and obviously I bet there was limbs getting chopped off left and right during the war, but I don't know, it's just not quite like, I feel like it's just kind of too in there. It's more focused on that than like, it's just more focusing on the brutality of war rather than like the emotional side, because you see soldiers go falling left and right. You don't really, except for maybe that one that befriended Dawes at the in the middle section, but like except for maybe him, none of them, you don't really feel like much emotion towards them, and I thought that was odd. But I'm not really sure if you're supposed to or not, so it's like it's hard to really tell. But you do have the perfect emotions of satisfaction at the end, so I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And second thing, I don't know. I don't think it quite ended right. I don't with him getting carried down. It makes sense, I guess, but it would have been nice for him to have like a reunion with his wife or with his parents. I feel like that would have been nice or something, and then have it just end there. I thought that was a little odd. First watch, I don't think. First watch I thought was really odd, but second watch I don't think really bothered me as much. So I don't. That it wasn't that big of a deal, but still, like you do feel like I think it didn't quite come to the quite perfect ending that I think it should have. Like it just. You're kind of just he's on the zip line thing down, and then it fades to blacker, and then you see these like parts with the actual Desmond Doss and Captain whatever his name is, in Hal Doss or whatever his name is. So I mean, I guess it works, but I mean, not 100%. I don't know. Overall, I love this movie. I thought it was fantastic. I absolutely had a great time with it. It's a very emotionally moving story, and I think in the end, like even though it's not as like heavy as probably other war movies, I still think like it's still you still see the right sort of aspect of war without it going too heavy. So in the end, I'm gonna give this a 9.7 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic, loved it. I think at the moment Saving Private Ryan and Hacksaw Ridge, which are two movies I watched recently. I think those are definitely my two favorite war movies I've seen at this point. It's hard to say which one I prefer. I think I might prefer Hacksaw Ridge a little more. I think it's gonna be one I watch more, simply because of that. Though I love Saving Private Ryan, I think Hacksaw Ridge might be the one I like more. But yeah, in the end. So tell me what you think about this movie in the comments below. Let me know if you like it, you don't like it. I'm interested, but I think it's great for the most part. And well, I think it's great. But if you care to but you're welcome to share your opinion if you don't think so. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. See you guys next time. Adios.